Hey everyone, today is Wednesday, the 5th of September, 2018. This is The Gap, episode 435. I'm Luke Lawrie, Joab Gilroy is here, and we're about to make history, Joab.
We are.
The last 2 weeks we've recorded, the world has changed forever after we've finished.
Oh.
Yeah.
The last 2 weeks. What happened 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago, we finished recording and Australia had a new Prime Minister.
True.
Yeah. Which was pretty historic, right?
That is...
Doesn't happen every year.
Well, doesn't happen every quarter. Yeah, that's true. And then last week,
Eminem dropped a surprise album.
That's true. I'm hoping that this week Kendrick Lamar will drop a surprise album. That's my dream. But it could be anything. Anything could happen. I personally blame Eminem for the podcast going out late last week.
Right. Okay.
Because I found that it had gone out while we were podcasting, and I sent you a link, and then you never told me that the podcast was ready to rock, and I figure it's because you were too busy listening to the album.
Yeah. What if he drops a second surprise album?
Another surprise
today.
Album.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yo, it's Slim Shady, and here are all the other people I forgot to fuck with on the last one. And then he just lists everyone else.
Yeah.
He skipped on Kamikaze.
Because I was thinking, what if he actually did Kamikaze 2, and the skit was not a joke?
Yeah. It makes sense. There's reviews out now, so he's got fuel to... stoke the fires deep within his heart of the things that he hates, which is any criticism of his work ever. So, yeah. Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking good, that album.
I like it.
Yeah.
I liked it. Mm-hmm. There are some songs that I don't like.
Which ones?
I do not like the first fucking single, which is Fall.
Right, okay. Yeah, he just released that today, right? The video clip?
The video clip?
I've not seen it,
I do not like it. I don't like the song, in general. So, I think the hook, I don't know.
Right. What's your favourite song, then?
What's the first one? Fucking... What are the first ones? It's fucking...
starts with R. Let me check. I think it starts with R. The Ringer, yeah.
The Ringer. That one's pretty good.
Like the first...
4.
I like all of them.
Really good.
Yeah.
Really good. There's another one that just goes, like, ham.
The Greatest?
Maybe...
Lucky You?
Lucky You is
pretty
good. I actually like Joyner Lucas, so... yeah. Oh, no, it's Not Alike. Of course, yeah, with Royce. The Bad Meets Evil. Reunion.
Stepping Stone's good. Really good. Nice Guy's good. Good Guy's good. Venom's, I don't know. That's a weird one to put on there, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that was, we need to chuck this in there. They paid us a lot of money. It's got to be put somewhere.
Yeah, screw it. This will get it to 45 minutes. Doesn't it need 45 minutes for Grammy recognition or some shit?
Does it? I'm not sure.
I was reading like there's all these fucking rules for Grammy recognition. It has to be, I don't know, like all the reasons that Kanye and Pusha T's albums are like the lengths that they are to meet the bare minimum requirements for like Grammy.
So does that mean the skits count?
I think they do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gold. But yeah, it's good. I reckon it's good. There's a lot to like on it.
Yeah, it's definitely shorter than his last one. His last one was like an hour and 20 minutes. Had like fucking 20 tracks on there.
Yeah, and I hated it.
No, you're crazy. It's good.
I hated most of it.
You're the reason why this is out, this new one.
Yeah, totally. Well, like, God for me, right? Like, if it was up to you, we wouldn't have this. You'd be like, oh, please, Eminem, do more whiny bullshit. Fucking singers and shit. Yeah.
Singers and shit. All right.
That's it.
Spider-Mans. We've been playing some Spider-Mans, but we might get to that later.
We will.
A teaser.
Good teaser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what did you want to talk about first then?
What should we talk about first? You got 2 Point Hospital in here again?
Yeah. I played another hospital in 2 Point Hospital. So you basically get challenges and you got to like 3-star them. Yeah, I basically talked about it last week. It's pretty much the spiritual successor to Theme Hospital. And so I got up to this next hospital. I also 3-starred that one. But what they do is they throw a different, like a gameplay mechanic in there by you're not just managing like one block of a hospital. It starts opening up other lots around you. And then so you can start purchasing larger areas. Because I got in there and I'm like, oh, this is actually it seems a bit smaller. Like I'm going to have to start managing my area in there a bit better. But then you get to a point and it's like you can purchase bigger lots next door and then it starts expanding a little bit more open. And I think that one in particular had like 3 other areas you can kind of purchase. There's like one that was like, this one's 25,000 and 50,000 and 75. So you start like building out a bit more. And that's something that was a little bit surprising to me. I didn't really think that would be in there. So that was kind of cool. And then they just start throwing different types of like diseases at you again and things like that. And like, all right, you need to have this type of doctor now. You need a doctor that can handle psychiatric patients, and only those types of doctors can go in those types of rooms. So they turn up the difficulty a little bit. And yeah, man, that game's really freaking good still. So I'm super happy with it. I think there was like a sale on somewhere. So I don't know if it's still happening, but it was definitely on sale when it launched, and then I saw it drop even more on some of the other gaming websites that were like trying to do like a 15% off special. So it got pretty cheap over the weekend. I don't know if it's still going cheap, but definitely hard not to recommend that one. It's a lot of fun, and especially if you like Theme Hospital, it's hard to pass up. So I just want to put that in there. They are changing up the gameplay as things sort of progress a bit further.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. World of Warcraft, I played some of the new expansion, Battle for Azeroth. I'm not too far into it. Basically, the opening of that game sort of takes place at the same time as the cutscene they released. I think it's like this giant battle out the front of like a castle. And it's Undead City, isn't it? I think. Something like that. And yeah, man. I don't know. Like, I didn't like that particular opening. I felt it took away too much control out of the player. Like, it just felt like you were pushing buttons, but at the same time, those buttons not having any consequence. Like, you can't die in that section, so it's just an hour of you just doing stuff and just to progress the story. No, you can't die. You get automatically healed. I tried very hard, Joab. I think there are sections in there where you can die, but it's like the urgency sections of like, oh, they're throwing down this green gassy stuff and you can't go past this area. That's sort of stuff you can die from, but it seemed like when you're in the combat situations and you're versing like 300 HP elites and stuff like that, they just couldn't kill you. Because I got low so many times just trying to fucking tank a bunch of dudes. And like I would automatically get healed as I was about to die, even though like we didn't have a healer on our team, so I don't know where it was coming from. And it wasn't like, oh, you've got 15% of your health back. It was like, you are back at full health. I was like, oh, okay, fair enough. So I can probably just leave now and not be at my computer. I'll let everyone else do all this stuff that's going on, because it kind of throws you into a like a raid, not a raid, like a dungeon. It's like a dungeon. You're with 3 other people. A little bit different to the last expansion. They actually threw you in like a full on raid, and it was you and whoever the opposing faction was. So if you were like Alliance, then the other side would be Horde, and you'd actually be battling these enormous creatures sort of alongside of each other, and you could see the other people in the world, which is kind of cool. So this was like a little bit more scaled back, but I don't know. I was like, okay, it's not challenging for me at all. It kind of just seems like a way to progress the story out there. So yeah, wasn't feeling it too much so far, and I haven't played much past that. I kind of got to the new area and grabbed a bunch of quests, and that was about it. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see how much more it sort of expands out, and whether or not it's a bit average, but we'll see.
I think the good season's on us. I'm done with World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
So
fair enough.
Yeah.
Right.
Like 30 minutes to get a DPS dungeon is just ludicrous. It's too long.
Yeah, weird. Yeah. All right. Yeah. What is MEO? Meow.
The Melbourne Esports Open.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. Do you want to talk about it now?
Let's do it. Yeah. The Melbourne Esports Open took place in Melbourne this weekend.
The home of esports.
How dare you? It took place out at the Melbourne Olympic Park, Rod Laver Arena, and the Margaret Court, I guess. That racist old bitch. And it was interesting. It was pretty good. I enjoyed myself. I flew down for Red Bull to live tweet it, which is always it still feels like an odd thing to do and to get paid to do, but whatever. It's a brave new world, and we were. I was basically just hanging about. I had a press pass. I'll tell you what, press passes were for shit. You weren't allowed access to anything. I managed to scab a fucking VIP pass, and that was the good shit. Suddenly I'm allowed into the Red Bull VIP area. I wasn't allowed in, and I'm like, no, but I work for Red Bull, and they're like, no VIP pass, and allowed in. And I'm like, but they want me to take some photos down there, and they're like, no pass, no entry. It's very simple. And I understand, they're just doing their fucking job. They get pretty strictly told if they don't have this pass. Otherwise people would always be trying to fucking blag their way in a place they shouldn't be, I guess. But I did sort of think that, the media pass should at the very least allow me, in somewhere interesting.
Into your own company's area?
Yeah. So the first day, I got down there Saturday morning. I had to fucking wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, which sucks, but whatever. Got down there super early in the morning, managed to get into my hotel. They put me, they booked me a hotel, the Adena. There's two, I think there's 4 Adenas in Melbourne. It's like a hotel chain. Right, and so I went to the one that's very close to the Melbourne Esports Olympics Park. Melbourne Olympic Park. I went there figuring that they would have put me up in the one that was close to the job, because that would make sense. Instead, I get there and I'm like, oh yeah, Gilroy checking in, and they're like, no, I don't see you here, sir. I'm like, I don't know what to say. This is, and they're like, oh no, that's at that's in the middle of the CBD. On you go, away you go. So off I went back to the middle of the CBD. It was quite a ways away. It was like a $10 Uber. And I check in and they're like, oh, I'm sorry, sir, but we don't have your room available yet. But it says here that you went to the wrong place, and my colleague has said that you were very polite. So we're going to upgrade you, complimentary upgrade, to a room that is available. I'm like, oh, okay. I went up there. It was literally bigger than my old apartment. It was fucking huge.
Yeah.
It was massive. It had a kitchen and fucking this giant bathroom with a bathtub and a shower and all this kind of shit. It was crazy. Yeah. Anyway, went to the thing that I was supposed to be there for, the Melbourne Esports Open, and it was being put on by like ESL. It's being put on off the back of the JB Hi-Fi Managers show.
Mm-hmm.
So every year, for those who don't know, the two big companies do like a big trade show, basically. And what has been happening is like the publishers bring all their stuff out to show the managers and stuff to showcase that stuff. And what's been happening is that they've been tacking stuff on afterwards.
Yeah, that's kind of like how EB...
how the EB Expo sort of came about. What you see at the EB Expo is basically a slightly glossier version of the EB Managers show. So they had their JB Managers show, and I guess they put this on the back of that. So there was a big JB Hi-Fi game zone with like Quake and Spyro and stuff like that.
All those esports games.
Yeah, yeah. And there was like a massive section for, I believe it was Pokemon trading card game. A massive section for that. The media room was like huddled in to the side of that. Yeah, that was fine. We were supposed to get food, but we never did. And then you went like from there into the main arena, the Rod Laver Arena space. And on one side you had the Rod Laver Arena, which was the main event. And then on the other, Margaret Court, you had like, I think it was 3 different games. It was Fortnite on a massive stage. There was fighting game tournament hosted by Couch Warriors, who do like Battle Arena Melbourne 10.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was Counter-Strike, the Extremesland, the BenQ Extremesland qualifiers. And I really wanted to go around and check everything out as much as possible. But I found that basically I had enough time, because I was supposed to be live tweeting fucking Rod Laver Arena events, which was the Overwatch and the League of Legends. I had fuck all time. I had bugger all time. I did manage to get over and see the Chiefs win a map, but only a single map, the Counter-Strike. I did manage to get in and watch a bit of the Fortnite, which was unbelievably amusing, but only because they managed to make it extremely amusing. They had this this caster chick who was, it was like she was, I don't even know how to like describe it. It was like they grabbed fucking Noni from Play School.
Yeah, okay.
And got her to cast an esports event. It was like this weird, like, it was Play School esports or something. It was very weird, but she was like extremely endearing, and like everyone seemed to be having fuck tons of fun. They were like using dance-offs to decide shit, and like the crowd was voting on who would win, and so you'd see like people, like, there are a lot of pity wins. There are, well, I saw like more than I expected pity wins, like where someone was just like so terrible that people cheered for them to win just out of pity, and they won, which was pretty funny.
But we're convinced that like Fortnite is not an esport, right? That's not a thing. Like, I've never seen them put on a proper professional, like, here's a bunch of pros playing. It's usually like, here's a bunch of streamers.
Celebrity sports.
Yeah.
Celebrity sports. At this point, it is very much that. And this, like, they made no fucking... They weren't pretending to be an esport at this thing. They just had a massive space, and they were holding open competitions, which was cool. I just, it was cool because people were competing. Heaps of little kids were competing. Heaps, like, I reckon Fortnite probably brought in as many people as, like, League of Legends did, I reckon. Maybe more. I was walking behind this dad and his son, and he's like, "Oh, do you want to go check out the other sport that's playing right now?" And the kid said nothing, and dad like paused for what seemed like forever, and he's like, "Or do you just want to go back to the Fortnite?" And it seemed like the dad wanted to go check out the League of Legends, at least poke his head in or something. But the kid was enthusiastic about going back to the Fortnite. So so Overwatch Day kicked off. Talked to Custer from LA Valiant. He's in the Overwatch League. It was a pretty good interview. I've been talking about this for ages, but I'm trying to fucking get my finger on this idea, on the pulse of this idea that the Contenders is a path to pro, and I just can't see how it is. He was pretty fucking honest about it. He's like, it's going to be better once there are more teams, but for now, it's going to be hard for Aussie players to get scouted. He had to move to America to actually have a go at it. For those who don't know, he literally left the country. That's the path to esports for Aussies that you don't want, really. That is not a professional path, right? But upping sticks and moving to a foreign country is not how you're supposed to go about it.
Mm-hmm.
Chatted to him, and then I talked to and then I watched the Overwatch. It was pretty good. I still have a real problem with I guess some viewability aspects of that game, especially now that they've added more shields. They just keep adding shields and shit. There's Bridget or Brigid or whatever the fuck her name is. She's got a shield, and Orissa's got a shield, and Reinhardt's got a shield, and you just wind up seeing fucking too many shields. There's way too many shields, and it feels like it's way out of control. So Drop Bears won the first game. It was a smashing, and Darksider versus Order was the second game, and Kanga Esports team were in the press room when I think Darksider went up in the first map, and they were just they were pissed off. They were super pissed off about it. They're like, "Oh God, oh here we go, more of this. The two worst teams are going to get into the finals." I'm like just sitting there. I'm like, how are they the worst teams? And one of them turns. He's like, "Oh, they're just the worst." And then another guy hits him in the arm, and he stops talking. And they stopped talking in general about how much they hated these teams, which was pretty interesting. It's not like I was recording, but if you are sitting in the press room, you probably shouldn't run your mouth about anything you don't want printed. So Darksider wound up winning. The series between Order and Darksider was fucking awesome. It was really close. They both pulled out some really interesting strats. I think it was 5. It was a best of 5, and it went down to game 5, and it went down to a point apiece, and so it was a control in game 5. It went down to a point apiece, and then the final point was 99% versus 99%, and they were just fucking clashing over it. So it was it was evenly matched. It went down to fucking 1% by the end. That was not the case for the grand final. The Drop Bears smashed Yeah, they just well outclassed their opponents. Yeah, so I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. Like I said, I do have some issues with the viewability aspects of it. I also have some issues with like this idea that you just never see certain heroes. You don't see Reaper at all. I know he's not, he's never been all that great, but you don't see him fucking at all.
It's not like they've tried to make him better,
right? Like,
or viable.
And then, all the stuff I said about the shields and stuff. But you do like once you get in the mindset, it's good fun to watch. I think they're starting to balance more towards competitive than casual.
Mm-hmm.
So they're still not purely balancing for competitive first and expecting casuals to work that shit out, but they are moving in that direction. And I think they will move more in that direction as the life of the game continues, because they've got this Overwatch League, and I think they'll eventually realize how critical that is, to the lifeblood of the game. So that was good. Then that night we were trying to work out what we were going to do. So there were like parties all over the fucking place, and we'd been invited to a bunch, but everywhere we went, it seemed like everyone had been invited to a bunch, so there was just lines. It was like Melbourne on a Saturday night, and the parties were popular spots, so yeah, there were just lines everywhere. So we wound up grabbing some dinner at the casino. I very much didn't want to drink at the casino. I'm like, I don't want to drink here. Every time I come down here, I drink at the fucking casino. I see someone else, you motherfuckers live in Melbourne, show me somewhere good. So we wound up going to this place. I wish I could remember what it was called. It was literally like around the corner from my fucking hotel. But you go in and you can get beers and stuff like that. And then, you go up and you grab a board game from their board game loaning area, and you can play a fucking board game at your table. It was quiet. The shitloads of board games you could play, drinking beers, and we played a game called Coup, which is one of those, I guess, betrayal games. Something that other people don't know, and you try to use it to your advantage type games. So you've got it's basically a game about bluffing. You've got 2 cards, and if you lose both your cards, you die. You're trying to build up a bank of money so that you can coup someone. You need 7 coins for a coup, and you can do all sorts of things to try to get that money. And it's it's like fun. Seems like we swang back and forth on whether or not we were always lying or we were always telling the truth, but I guess we'd had a bit to drink. So, and then everyone else ditched. Everyone else bailed. I think the bar was closing, so everyone else was like, "Oh yeah, we'll wrap up." So I went back to my hotel, but GG Easy Bar is right down the road. Was right down the road from my hotel, which just shout out to the team at Red Bull for booking me a hotel right next to all the good bars. But
could have been worse. You could have been spending like $50 to get a cab down there.
Yeah, that's true. So I wandered down, and we'd been there before. It was one of the locations of one of the after parties, and there was a line there previously. There was no line now, so I just wandered straight in. I'm like, I'll just have a look around, see if I know anyone, and got the moment I got in, I got grabbed to do some shots, and then 3 weeks later, 4:00 in the morning is when I got home. So I didn't wake up till midday. But the League of Legends didn't start till 2, so I was all good. So yeah, League of Legends kicked off. I gotta be honest, they got to do something about that game, man. They got to do something about that game because there is not enough incentive to fight. People have too much survivability. Like the time to kill is such that, like, they've got too many jukes. They've got too many. I've watched a fuck ton of League of Legends, but I only watch it by skipping. I only watch VODs. I never watch it live, and so I only watch it by skipping through to see the good bits.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like you don't need the build up. Like there's. It's not like skipping to just the goals in a game of soccer or something, right? If you only watched soccer by only watching the goals, I feel like you wouldn't have a very good understanding of the nature of the game itself, of how the game actually played out, right? Like, but if you do it for League of Legends, you have a pretty fucking good idea. All the information's presented for you, right? And there are just massive, massive gulfs of time where nothing happens. And it's staggering that, like, I think I messaged you, I'm like, 15 minutes have passed and nobody has killed anyone yet. Like, how? How have they not rectified that? How have they not?
Because everyone's got that flash ability and, like...
But it does go on cooldown and stuff, right? Like, like get it, but yeah, I guess like the cooldown for it needs to be bigger or something. It's such a crutch. I actually really like game 4 of the series between the Chiefs and the Direwolves saw the Chiefs mount an epic attempt at a comeback. They were down like 7,000 or 8,000 gold down, but they were also down 7 towers. And they managed to like smash the Direwolves. The Direwolves tried to come in to like attack their base, and the Chiefs managed to smash them and then steal the Baron buff. And the Baron buff is like a global thing in League of Legends. Everyone sort of gets like extra damage, and they make other things do more damage and stuff like that. So like it's if you die you lose it, but it's one of those things where like if a team has the Baron buff, they're not doing too badly, and usually the lead will use the Baron to like start to they'll grab Baron and
because they've got the momentum then.
Unstoppable. If the losing team gets Baron, they can actually mount a pretty good comeback, and it was actually really exciting. Like there were picks all over the fucking place, and like I think the Chiefs were playing like this was their last fucking chance. It was a good fucking good game. Like that is what League of Legends should be like most of the time. But like what we got instead was just massive like chunks of time when nothing was happening. And you contrast that with what they've done to make Dota exciting at all times, with the shrines and the bounties and like all that kind of shit, right? To make it viable to attempt a gank all over the fucking shop, or make it like not just viable but like purposeful, like fucking a good reason to go for a gank like really early when you might not necessarily have everything you need to make it happen, but you still take a shot, just see what you can make it work, right? Like fuck me, man. It just doesn't happen in League of Legends. It feels like the laning phase is just like an agreed upon turtling phase, which I'm okay with in Command and Conquer. But fuck, man, it's not very good. I don't think anyone would watch Command and Conquer the way I play it. Joab's competitive Command and Conquer.
30 minutes, no fighting.
I don't know if it really like translates to the best viewing experience. You know, yeah, it's just bananas, man. Like, I just think they need to do something to fix that.
Mm-hmm.
Like Riot needs to do something to fix that, to make the game more exciting for spectators, because anyone who's not like invested in League of Legends, like, I don't know, man. And maybe it's my bias, right? Like, obviously, I'm an OG fan. I'm a Dota fan. Like, the first game that got me watching esports, right? If we don't count watching way too many Quake 3 demos back in the day, was Dota. So maybe that's my bias showing through, and it's just typical MOBA bias. But I don't think it is. I think I'm a pretty fucking keen study on the key factors of what makes, or like what helps grow an esport. And I feel like, yeah, a 15-minute window where nobody fucking dies is not a fantastic viewing experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. It was just, yeah. Then after that, like after it wrapped up, went to the after party. The Diables won. Mm-hmm. It was convincing. I spoke to Schönfire. You can read that on Red Bull now if you like. It's a pretty interesting interview. He came in and he seemed just fucking done. Hey, like, I'm like, you don't seem very excited, man. How come you not, like, you just won? He's like, I'm tired of winning the OPL.
Yeah.
Like, I want to beat the big boys. We're big fish in a small pond, and I want to beat the big boys. Like, Jesus Christ. Okay, fair enough.
But they get those opportunities, right? Because they have the Asia tournaments, and then the winners from that go across to the Worlds.
Yeah, so they've got the play-ins. And they're held in Korea, so that's next month. And they will play against the best teams from the other smaller regions. And if they manage to win, then they'll go into the group stages for the World Championships. Mm-hmm. You look at the prize pools, though. Just getting to the world, like getting to Worlds, is worth double the prize pool for actually winning the OPL. So yeah, that seems lopsided to me. Mm-hmm. It heavily incentivizes first place, and it has to make it harder for everyone else to continue. But yeah, anyway. It was a really good chat. Champfire's a great dude. He is like genuinely interested in what people have to say, and he was genuinely not interested in saying much himself, which is not always a great interview, but like, he's a good dude. So, and I managed to make it into a good interview because I'm the fucking esports journalist of the year. So yeah. That was good. After that, went to the after party. Went to the other after party. Bingo bango. Got to fucking Melbourne Airport with 25 minutes.
Yeah.
To spare, and I went to the wrong terminal at first.
Cool.
So then,
wrong airport.
As I was, yeah, I'm lining up at security of the other one, and they're like, would Mr. Gilroy please come and board the plane? So I had to, and naturally it was the furthest fucking gate from the fucking security, but I had to like bust in front of. I was like, you know how you get scooped to the front of the line when you're that late, that you're like being called, and like you go to the people, the staff. You're like, hey, that was my name, and they're like, oh yeah, just jump in front, go through now. I was like second from the fucking top of the line anyway, so barely got to cut in front of anything. Complete waste of a cut. Anyway, and that was it. Got on a plane.
Cool.
Away I go.
Yeah, does it feel like they're going to do it again next year? Like, do you know if they've got it under a contract?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100% back again.
Right.
So it's definitely happening again next year. I reckon if you're in Melbourne, I reckon it's worth going to. I reckon the only thing that I think would help it is like more international stars. Get like get some players out and get them to do signings or something like that. You know, they don't have to necessarily play, but get actual international esports stars out and get people in for that. And I think that would rope in more people than just Aussie local games. And like, just because they have, you know, ultimately limited appeal. You know, so yeah, like they will get bigger, but they're just not there yet. So you may as well get the big stuff, right?
Yeah. Was it busy? Like, I'm hearing numbers of between like 15 to 20,000 people across the weekend.
Yeah, I can believe that. Like, yeah, not crazy busy, not huge numbers, but it was pretty busy. I think the ultimate gauge, the way I usually gauge it is in between, like in breaks and stuff. How like bad are the toilets?
Okay.
They were pretty bad. So yeah. But yeah. So I talked to Custer. I talked to I've forgotten his name. The Kiwi kid who got poached from the the Drop Bears to go play for Toronto. He does not like being called Australian.
Fair enough. Is he from Australia?
No, he's from New Zealand.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah. And I talked to Shanfire. That's about it. That's all the interviews I did. I would have loved to talk to like people at the other events, but there just wasn't time at all. Not even remotely time for me to do it. So yeah, it's a bummer. Like, I think at the end of the day, for me, it seemed like a halfway point between PAX, which is like a convention with some esports in it, and IEM, which is an esports event with some other shit in it. You know, this is halfway between. Like,
yeah,
it's an esports event with a whole bunch of other shit. And so it felt like there was a lot worth doing, even if, you know, you didn't particularly care about one thing or the other. Yeah, if you're only there for the Overwatch contenders finals, you could still go play Overwatch, but you'd probably find another game that you enjoyed as well. For example, you like Overwatch, so you're probably a child, in which case Fortnite is there. League of Legends, you like League of Legends, so you're probably a giant Zork. Pokemon's there. Like, options, baby. Lots of options. Yeah. I don't know. Good weekend. All right, I've lost Luke.
No, I'm here.
Okay.
I just wasn't sure if you were going to keep talking.
I'm finished. I'm done. Yeah. SCUM?
Yeah, let's talk about SCUM. We talked about it last week kind of briefly. We'd only really played it for like a couple hours, and I think at that stage it wasn't actually out yet. Is that right?
Yeah.
We were kind of in like media access / streamer access, I think.
No, I think it'd been like out for a day, because I'm pretty sure we played with... Yeah, no, because we played with Squirrel, so...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were letting any old fucking idiot in.
Are we going to do this again? Actually, we can do this again. It's good, man. I really like that game a lot. Like,
I was like pretty close to done with it when we were talking about it last week. Yeah. I was like, I just don't see it. Like, I'm not about it. And then, yeah, we played it a bit more, and I definitely started to see it. The systems, there's so many systems that you need to fucking get your head around. But once you've got your head around, like, even a fraction of them, you start to see the depth in it, and it starts to, like, unfurl itself, and it looks like you get an idea of the game that it could be, I think. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. Like, last week, I was like, yeah, this one, it's probably not going to be with me for that much longer. But, yeah, now I'm like, yeah, I could keep playing this. I could definitely keep playing this. It's a lot of fun. But I was talking to someone last night at the pub, and they were like, oh, I watched it for literally 50 minutes on Twitch. I watched a guy, and nothing happened. I'm like, it is like it's a highlights game. You don't watch SCUM and expect something to be happening all the time. It's like the reverse. It's the League of Legends thing, right? You only want to see the good bits, and there's a lot of bad bits. But it's engaging for the player. It's just not engaging for the viewer. Know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you go.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, like, I can see sort of like what they're going for, even though it's really early access. They've got sort of like a baseline of all, like a bunch of mechanics in there that really work quite well. But they're sort of at this stage where it took DayZ so long to get to, and I feel like that they're already at not past them, but at a good sort of competitive level of somewhere similar. And I don't feel like I'm getting like in DayZ, you would do stuff in that game, especially really early on, and you would just constantly die to things like bugs and like falling off the fucking ladder or getting stuck in terrain or just weird shit. Whereas playing this, I'm like, I haven't experienced any of that yet. Like, it doesn't feel buggy to me at all, which is really good. Like the combat seems to feel pretty, it's solid, seems okay. Yeah, it's just not like, it's just not at that stage where people were really amped about DayZ, but it's still kind of fucked at the same time.
Yeah.
This seems like further along, and I can see like what they're going for and what they're trying to do, and it definitely has like a lot of potential there, I feel like.
Yeah, it definitely has potential. Yeah, it's still early, and there's definitely half-baked bits about it.
Yeah.
I don't know if the combat is necessarily solid, especially when you're like fighting zombies and you're half-armed or unarmed. It feels janky as fuck. Like, it doesn't. I feel like you don't take a lot of hits in that situation because you are like ill-equipped. I feel like you take a lot of hits because like they warp a little or they move faster than they should. Like, they'll just sort of like skip forward a little bit.
Yeah, they get to you like really easily. I've
stun lock you, and yeah,
I found that you got to sort of pressing back isn't like the way to do it because they sort of lunge at you. You've sort of got to circle around them quite a lot, or like that sort of thing.
Yeah,
because like once you sort of start getting 2 or 3 zombies on you, it can be a bit of a problem. One seems to be one is pretty easy to handle, but
yeah,
when I get into a town and there are zombies around, even though I've got a fucking AK on my back, I'm still like, all right, I need to take this really carefully. Because it's that thing of, all right, I can sit here and shoot all these zombies, but being loud alerts them all and they'll all come chasing for you. But then you've also got to worry about if anybody else is nearby. So I still like to go into towns and just use my baseball bat to try and get around. And if there are a lot of zombies, it's like, well, shit, I can't make too much noise because then they'll all hear me. And then, then I'd maybe have to use my gun. It's like this kind of, it feels a bit more riskier than I've had with DayZ and sort of confronting those zombies.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
It's fun, like the map stuff. is good, and I've noticed that everyone seems to have improved their orienteering, although some needed to improve a lot more than others.
Yeah.
So we wound up we went to bunker 13, I think, top left of the map, and we're just hanging out and doing stuff in there, and the bunkers have robots around them, so you got to sort of there's a bit of stealth action in there where you're trying to time it so that you can get in.
Yeah, they patrol the area.
Yeah, and they're lethal as fuck. There was heaps of us, and we were desperately trying to get in one at a time. I got fucking beamed in the head, so I had to I spent a good 15 minutes running back to my own body. I was able to get my stuff off my body without being seen by the robot, which was nice. We got in, we looted up, it was pretty cool. Getting out again, we shot a dude who basically must have suicide run his way in, because we were hearing the robots losing their shit, and then nothing, and then a little while later the robots would be losing their shit, and then nothing, and then suddenly someone runs through the front door.
Yeah.
And he got murdered immediately. He had nothing on him. So, trying to get out was fucking hilarious. We're just trying to, we're all talking about the best ways to get out. I was going up through this hatch, and
they seem like a death trap, those hatches.
Dude, one of the robots somehow managed to shoot at me, and it must have been a ricochet, but Raisty was below me on the ladder, and he got beamed and died, and died at the bottom of the ladder. And I'm at the top of this fucking ladder, I'm oh God! How am I alive?
Yeah. It seems like they've turned that down in a recent patch. You shouldn't have that happen anymore, the instant headshot.
Oh, right.
Because that's happened, I think, a couple of times to our squad, where you just instantly get peeked and just fucking dead straight away.
Yeah, it's rough.
So
that was good. That was a good, little sesh where technically nothing much happened, but we geared up a bit. I got an MP5 now. I can't work out how to change the firing mode on it, though.
Oh, it's, there is a button for it.
Right, I'll check that.
Yeah.
But you can't tell which firing mode it's on, right?
I think by default it is full auto. Because my AK, I had the same problem. I was I don't know if this is on full auto or if it's just a single shot. So I got to a town before we were about to log out, and I just put a few bullets into a wall, and it was at full auto.
Right.
And so and then changed it to single shot, and it went to single shot. It's just there's no HUD indicator at all.
Yeah. There needs to be.
Yeah. I'm sure they'll get to it.
But yeah. Good.
Yeah, man. We played a game where we went into a bunker as well, and I think I was with Drew and maybe Liam was playing, and I think Drew ended up getting we went to a couple of bunkers and Drew kept dying to the sentries. Right. or there was one instance where we were trying to get in, and he started he basically triggered it, alerted it, and it started chasing him, and I sort of just ran around a crate and then just legged it into the bunker, and I'm oh, fuck you, I'm in. So I started looting up that whole area. I think he ended up dying, and then running back and getting all his gear again. And I think also Liam ended up dying to a sentry at one stage. So I'm in this bunker alone, and while these two are trying to get back to their bodies and that sort of thing, and I kept 4 minutes after I think Liam died, I'm hearing that sentry get alerted again, because it says stuff, you can hear it, and I'm is it shooting at his dead body, or is there someone else here? It just happens one shot, you just hear boom, one shot, and I said to the guys are you guys, is someone else here, or what's going on? And they're no, it's not me. And then 5 minutes later, I'm hearing really fucking light footsteps. And And this is after sitting in the bottom of the bunker and looking at where the hatch is. So there's like a hatch that goes up to the back to the outside, sort of where you were talking about before. But it's a dead end in that area. So I'm like, no one can come up behind me. They've got to come from, if someone's here, they've either got to come out through that hatch or through the door. And so I must have been sitting there for a minute and a half, just waiting for someone to come down the stairs, and nobody did. So I start looting this other area again. And then I'm like really lightly hearing footsteps, and I'm like, are you guys here? Is someone here? Because I'm going to shoot somebody if you are. And they're like, no, it's not any of us. I'm like, all right, fair enough.
Yeah.
And then so I start slowly walking forward, and I've got my gun out the entire time. And I get to the door, and it's closed, but there's a glass window looking out. And for a split second, I see something sort of go past in the hallway, and it's like a floating fucking gun. And I'm like, oh shit, someone's here. And then I for whatever reason, because I'm an idiot, I strafe in front of the door, and and the floating gun comes back, and it starts like looking where I'm looking, and I open the door, and I'm like, oh fuck, like, so then I strafe back out to the side, because clearly the floating gun has seen me. And so then I strafe and sort of lean back out into the hallway that I've now opened the door at, and there's a dude standing there, and I just fucking unload it on him on my pistol. Turns out he had a AK-74U, I think it was. Is that what they are?
Yeah.
It's like a micro,
one,
like a tiny assault rifle. He had one of them, and I had a pistol, and I just smashed him. Like, he went down pretty quickly within a couple of shots. It didn't look like he had much armor or anything like that. But yeah, that was my first kill of the game, and I thought that was pretty good. So
nice. I
ended up getting out of there with my pistol, a bunch of ammo, like magazines. I had like 6 AK magazines. I had an MP5 on me, but I didn't really have a clip for that yet. So, and I got in there with a hunting rifle. I'm basically still on like my same character that I've been on since last week when we talked about it. So I haven't died yet. But I eventually get out of there alive. I don't take any of his stuff because like he was basically looting my scraps, all the things that I didn't have. Yeah, and so I leave that area, and I end up basically, I'm at the north side of the map at the moment, and I start going through towns, and just sort of looting like little houses along the way, and I eventually find an AK just randomly there, and I'm like, oh, fucking sweet. Like, I've got all this AK stuff that I've been carrying around for days. Yeah. And I finally find a fucking AK that I can use. I mean, this is after looting like 4 bunkers, like looking for an AK. It just happens to be in a random house, and I'm like, oh, sweet. So now I'm kitted up. I've got an assault rifle. I've got a shitload of ammo for it. I've got like 150 rounds. I've got like a giant camouflage backpack. I've got like like a military vest on. I'm all like camoed up. I feel like I've got, like, I'm maxed out. Like, I don't know what else I could do. I've got like a 100 meter scope. No, 100 to 1,000 meter scope on me.
Oh, nice.
Like, I don't know what else I would need to sort of do any better. And I managed to find some clips for MP5, so I think I've still got that in my backpack as well as like a secondary thing.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm pretty happy with my loadout at the moment. And then I managed to keep getting hypothermia, and I wasn't really sure how to get rid of it because it's one of those games where you've got all these stats and you're managing so many different things, and it kept sort of coming and going. Like, my body temperature was getting up to like the 38, 39 degrees, and, you know, phase 2 hypothermia. And eventually, like, I would just take off all my clothes and sort of just sit still for a couple of minutes, and then it'd drop down and I'd be good again. I think it was just a little bit bugged out because I'd been playing for like 8 hours straight, because it kept coming back in like every, 30, 40 minutes. It'd just sort of come back again. And I didn't really have too much weight on me. So yeah, I sort of just logged out and then logged back in. It seemed to be fine after that. Because we ended up having Squirrel had the same thing. He'd been running around for a couple of days in this game and didn't realize you had to manage any of those stats. He like, we were in the middle of a fight with zombies and he's just like throwing up and fucking pooping everywhere.
I saw the video. It was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, and we're trying to explain to him, like, can you see if you're sick? Like, you probably don't have diarrhea anymore because you've just shit everywhere. So, like, that should be fine. But you're throwing up. Like, something is wrong. And it turned out he had, like, phase 3 hypothermia. And he was, like, 42 degrees, like, his body temperature. I'd say he was pretty dead at that stage. And we couldn't figure out how to fix him. I'm like, we got to get to a river and like get you in that river and just sit in there. And so there was one behind us, which was pretty close, but I was like not going that way because we'd just come from that area. I'm like, fuck you, I'm not escorting you to a river where I'm not getting anything out of it. So we're going south. I don't care how far it is, we're doing that.
Right.
And yeah, man, we couldn't run like 30 seconds without him throwing up. So we had to go about 2Ks, I think it was about 2Ks, and him throwing up every 30 seconds. So it took a little while to get there. But eventually we did. We got him to take off all his gear, and then I went through it all a second time, just to check if I missed anything the first time that I could steal. But no, it wasn't. He was just carrying around like random shit, like fucking bottles of brake oil and like a magnifying glass. And I'm like, why do you have all this useless shit? And it's
brake
like,
oil's used for something. I don't think he was that far off on that one. I can't remember what it's used for, but it's like I remember seeing it and thinking, no, I would love to have brake oil,
but he would just picked it up just for the fun of it.
Yeah,
like not because he was going to use it for anything. It was just there, and he was like, I'm going to carry this. Mr. Magooty's way into it. So we get him in. He takes off all his gear. We get him into this river, and he's like, it's at this stage it's just me with him because everybody else is like, fuck this, I'm out. Just did their own thing. So he's like head deep, like up to his shoulders in this river, and his body temperature is not dropping at all. Like, and he's still like throwing up while he's in there. And I'm like, dude, you need to log out and just log back in. I think it's bugged like mine was. And so he logs back out, logs back in, and his body temperature's at like 38 degrees again, and it doesn't seem to be rising. But yeah, because at the time I told him at the start, just log out, man, and log back in, because like that's what I did, and it fixed me up, and I wasn't as bad as what you were. Yeah, and he was like, no, we'll get to the river and we'll see if we can sort this out. And so, yeah, it just seemed like it was maybe a weird bug that maybe happens every once in a while. So, yeah, if you do get hypothermia, try logging out, see if it fixes it. But, yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with it. It's super tense. I haven't really done, like, other than that one dude that I found in the bunker, like, it hasn't been full-on combat. We haven't really gone into those really hectic areas, like the military bases and the airfields, sort of just sticking up north at the moment and looting small towns and bunkers. But it's been fun. I've had a lot of fun playing. Yeah.
Nice.
We haven't had a chance to jump in together because you were away, but yeah, pretty much most that weekend was just, I had like a 8-9 hour session straight just playing that game. It was really good.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm keen to jump in again.
Yeah. All right.
Cool.
Should we talk about Battlefield?
Let's talk about Rainbow real quick.
Oh, Rainbow. Yep.
Yeah, so I played it, and like I played it this morning. The new DLC's out.
Grim Sky.
Hey,
Grim Sky.
Grim Sky, and yeah. I didn't manage to be the new attacker. I did manage to be the new defender. And she's interesting. A bit weird. A shield chunks up all damage. So, like, it is basically Monty with the taser. She can't shoot a gun with a shield out. So, yeah, it's not like that's an option, but yeah, it's cool. Like the taser is on contact. So it's not like you can like it's not like fucking the Twitch drone or something. Like you have to be on top of someone. I did tase a dude down to half, but I didn't get the kill. Yeah, I do like the little holes the new dude makes, but we were playing on what's that Japanese map? Look at the Japanese map.
Skyscraper? No.
Skyscraper. No, like whatever the fuck it's called. Anyway, we got it twice in a row, and I don't think it's very good for that sort of thing. Yeah, it doesn't have like external walls that you can take advantage of very easily. So yeah, it feels good, and yeah, that's about it. Anyway, Battlefield. I'm definitely looking forward to playing some more Rainbow. But yeah.
Yeah,
Battlefield.
with the new. It is called Skyscraper. Fuck you.
Oh, isn't that the Korean one?
No, I don't know. Skyscraper is the one with the like Japanese buildings.
Roofs. Right. Okay. Fair enough.
Tower
Fine.
is the tower.
Tower must be tower. Right.
No, tower is the giant tower.
Tower's the giant tower. It all makes sense now.
Yeah.
Battlefield 5.
Yeah. This is a game.
Yeah. So closed beta for pre-orders released last night.
Mm-hmm.
It was a fucking shit show. It was an absolute shit show. Squads didn't work. Like you couldn't get into a fucking server. Like there's no queuing, or queuing wasn't working correctly. All this kind of shit. It's just ridiculous. Like I was so fucking pissed off. But I was playing again today, like earlier today, this morning. Actually, I spent way too long playing this morning, and it feels awesome. I reckon it's fucking really good. I really like what they're doing. They're absolutely going down the squad route of trying to make it like as much like taking a lot of the good stuff from squad and trying to make it like more like that to better
like stay with your team.
Courage. Yeah, team play. Yeah, and it just like you start off with like I think one clip of ammo, and you need fucking ammo from someone. And it's not bad if you spawn at like a location, because most of the like conquest points have like ammo drops, ammo supply units that you can go up to. You have to remember to do it, but you can go up to them. It is if you spawn on a squatty and you don't have fucking support with you, you are bingo on ammo for a while, and it's hairy. It gets real hairy. Yeah, it feels like pretty scary until you get like some more ammo. I've definitely, in a couple of situations, found myself with like just rocking my pistol and waiting and like praying for someone to show, like one of my other squaddies to show up with some fucking ammo. You pick up ammo off enemies that you kill though. It's just if you're holding a point, you'll have to like run out into the open to go get that ammo, which is a bit scary. Medics can revive anyone, and their default grenade is a smoke grenade. It's 2 smoke grenades, and so if someone goes down, you drop a grenade on them, and then you can revive them under at least a little bit of safety, which is good.
Do they respawn those grenades, or is it like you need a support?
I think you need a supply. Yeah, you need to be resupplied. Yeah, so it's good. You self-heal by pressing 5. You throw out like medic packs to anyone nearby. All that kind of shit's good. You can revive your own squaddies, but you can't, like, only medics can revive other people. And squad revives get you up to like 80% health instead of full health. Medic revives get you back up to full. And I, like this morning, I got like top 3 in the server with not that many kills over and over again, just reviving and like playing a squad lead, leading us into like the next capture point and then just keeping my squad up, keeping them alive, and any other players who came along with us, I'd keep them up as well. Playing as a medic was really good. On the last game I played, I found out that the squad lead can call in these fucking supply drops.
Yeah, right.
They're fucking crazy. One of them's a V2 rocket, and when it lands near you, anywhere inside of 100 meters, the entire fucking world shakes. The explosion is crazy. It's huge. Everything dies. If you're close enough close enough but not close enough to die, you still get knocked on your feet. Knocked off your feet and you have to get back up again.
Like the song.
All this kind of shit. Hey?
Like the song.
Like Chumbawamba.
Yeah. Yeah. So wait, how do you call these in? Is it like a time-based thing, or is it you're earning points?
You earn squad points, and you spend those squad points by pressing B.
Right, and that's part of the building as well?
Part of the building?
Yeah, because you can build stuff in this game, right?
Oh, yeah. I don't know if that costs you. I haven't done it yet. That's a good point. Right. You can build stuff. It's super good to build stuff. At one point, the other team used the building mechanic to build barbed wire to basically every viable entrance except for one to this point. And it was a fucking meat grinder trying to get in there until I had to respawn as a fucking assault and take my TNT. I'm typing to my squaddies. I'm spawn, you guys are assault, use dynamite on the fucking barbed wire. Use dynamite on the barbed wire, and they just run into the hole again. I'm not getting you back up. I'm not running in there. Use dynamite on the barbed wire. And eventually, fuck it. I run in, try to get one of them back up pointlessly, get shredded, respawn as an assault, and go and blow up the fucking barbed wire. But it took some fucking doing, man.
So you can't get rid of it any other way at the moment?
I don't think so. I think I think I got rid of one with a mine, and I shot the mine, and it exploded into the other barbed wire. And I think tanks can, explosions in general, I think can get rid of it. It's hard to do with the medic rifle grenade because it bounces. It's not explode on impact or anything. So it's hard to really line it up where it's going to land and stuff. That stuff's good. Sandbag walls and stuff like that are really cool. I just haven't done any of it yet, but it's a cool mechanic, and it seems like it's done pretty well. It's not build anywhere; it's build in certain places, but that's fine with me.
Yeah.
Yep. Graphically gorgeous. I had it on DirectX 12 mode. Do not put it on DirectX 12 mode. I don't know why I had it on DirectX 12 mode. I should not have. But yeah, other than that, yeah, good stuff.
Yeah. Is it just the one map, or what do they got going?
2 maps, a snow map and a very reminiscent of Armian, the city map from Battlefield 1.
Yeah.
So those 2 maps. The snow map is the worst of the 2, I think. Only because there's planes in that map, and planes can go suck a big old dick. I think they're too powerful as it is right now. If you sit on the AA, it's way too easy for a plane to just do a bombing run over you, and it's really hard to actually shred that shit down. So, I lit this cunt up 3 times in a row. He was just doing passes trying to bomb me, and he was missing. And I was he was not taking any time to heal back up, and I was not missing with my AA. And he was able to do a 4th run, just straight over the top of me. He finally fucking worked out how to hit me, and that was it. I died. And that sucked a bit, in my opinion. Was it not a terribly satisfying way to die?
Cool. I don't know. I might jump in. It's open tomorrow, right, to everybody?
Open beta tomorrow, yeah.
Yeah.
You should definitely jump in.
Do we know what time?
I have no idea. Probably 6.
Yeah, right. Maybe I'll jump in today. I don't know. Let's see.
All right. Nice. Cool.
We shall see.
That's it.
Awesome.
One other game.
Yeah, Marvel's Spider-Man. We got codes for this a couple weeks back. Sony again was awesome and sent out super early code, which they've done for like the last couple of games. It makes it very handy to review stuff like this, as opposed to just rushing through a game, in a couple of days, and then trying to get all the content going. So yeah, giving like a 2-week, 3-week lead time is very handy for us indeed. They did the same thing with like Detroit, God of War, and then obviously this as well. So it's been awesome. We spoke about Spider-Man, I think it was last month, or the month before. We previewed the first 3 or 4 hours of it. Yeah. It's basically set in New York. It's been 8 years since Peter Parker got bitten by a spider. It gave him superpowers. He's basically spent those 8 years putting away a bunch of villains, and that sort of leads up to this point in the story where the police are going after Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin, and and that's kind of where the game kicks off. You're like, that's the last big villain he's going after, and it's all come to this point. And then once that sort of happens, like, he gets arrested, and he's like, well, you're going to regret this. You're going to wish I'll be back in 2 weeks. Like, you don't know what you're in for. And then that kind of kicks off this whole story arc of all these other villains that sort of start showing up and causing a big scene for him. Yeah, man, it's pretty good. They've taken like the Batman Arkham formula. Yeah. They've improved on certain aspects of it. I think I said when I saw it at E3, like, I didn't think it was going to be as like Batman Arkham set like this new benchmark for action games and like just obviously superhero games, but just action games in general. Like, we hadn't seen an action game sort of take that much time and care and really put a lot of emphasis in the story. The combat was something we hadn't seen before, and then all of a sudden it was in every action game up until then. Some of them have sort of stepped away from that a little bit, but it really did set like a precedence of like, this is how you should do action, and it's really fucking good. Spider-Man, it's not the same type of combat. Like, it's similar, but it does different things. Like, it's got more focus on its gadgets. He's definitely like more agile and moves quicker. Like, you're not just sort of standing in the one spot all the time. It's going from one place of the fight to the next, and it can be quite a distance away. It's got less emphasis on like the counter system. Like, it is still there, but it's not mashing counter depending on how many people are attacking you at once. Because in Batman, it's like, all right, there's 4 people about to hit me, and you press like the counter button 4 times, and then he'll counter all of those people. Like, you need to make sure that you counter for every single person that's around you, as opposed to just in Spider-Man, it's kind of like just the one person that will be shooting at you, and it's usually someone shooting at you or someone about to hit you. So it's different in terms of that, but like I see where they've sort of taken their like, they've looked at the Batman Arkham stuff, and there is a lot of things in there that they've borrowed from there, but they've also changed it up, I think, enough that it makes that combat a little bit different. So yeah, I think the combat's really good. I think the traversal system is fucking really good. I think the story is excellent. And the storytelling, the way they tell it, there's a lot of cutscenes. There is a lot of in-game, like, world building with just some of the stuff that you do. Like, there are puzzles in the game that, like, there are, like, put these circuits together, like the old BioShock puzzles, like join the pipes and then, get the pipe from one end to the other, that sort of thing. But they do it with circuits, and you have to make sure the voltages are correct, like input and output. There are like spectrograms that you need to match up. And even those things are building the world around you. Like, and I don't want to talk too much spoilers, and I don't think we should, but you do these things, and then you can see as the story progresses sort of what that is leading up to and what's going on. And it creates these really cool ideas of sort of things that pay off later on, sort of how they came about and where they came from. And like an interesting twist in the story, or characters in that world and things that are going on. So I think the world building, the story stuff is really awesomely done. The game looks amazing. We talked about the whole puddle gate thing last week and how that is just stupid.
Nonsense.
It's dumb nonsense. Because the game looks awesome. I played it on 4K, and it looks outstanding on there. I went back to record some footage, and I don't have a 4K recording device. It's only in 1080. The game still looks really good, but holy shit! Like the difference HDR and 1080 and 4K makes is ridiculous. Like I don't think you realize how much of a difference it makes until you go back and you see a game in that older format.
Yeah.
Which is nuts, because I didn't think it was that much of a difference. And I think I said that once when like Microsoft released a 4K tool on their Xbox. I was like, hey, here's what 4K and HDR does. And it's like, yeah, all right, fair enough. Like, it's not, I don't care. And then you see it and you're like, holy shit, actually, yeah, it makes like the lighting changes, the colors really stand out. It looks really good. So like even in 1080p, the game still looks awesome, but it's just so much, it looks so much better in 4K. I think the game runs really well. It doesn't like, I don't think there's too many performance issues in there. I mean, it is a bit itchy in some areas, but it's not like super noticeable. There's a lot of, there's tons and tons of things to do in the world. There is like so many collectibles. There's a bunch of side missions. There are like, sort of random encounters in the city where there'll be a crime happening and you can go and stop it. I felt that like even 30 hours into the game, I was still getting new stuff that was coming along, like a different way, like a different type of crime encounter. Like some of them are very samey in terms of like, hey, you've got to stop, these guys from sniping these cops or whatever. But it seemed like each time it was on it like a different type of scenario. There was different things happening there. And then even further on, like just different types of events that were happening, which was really strange. And the world sort of changes as you progress through the game, and that sort of changes up the things that are happening as well. And you get these different types of encounters. I don't know what else to say. Like, it's really good. I don't want to talk too much about story stuff because the story is such a big part of the game, and maybe we can do that like at another stage. Because it is, I think it's really fucking good. But yeah, I think it's definitely on. I think it does certain things better because it's hard not to compare it to Batman, right? It's a superhero game. This is the first like Marvel superhero game that they've done under this new license since they got rid of Activision and some of the shit they were pushing out like every year. I think I talked about it. I can't remember if I reviewed it for you or not. I know I reviewed one of them, but Shattered Dimensions was really good. I think I gave that like a 6 or 7 out of 10.
You definitely did one for me. I can't remember.
I must have been the other one. So Edge of Time was the one they followed that up with the next year, and it was just shit. Like, it was literally they pushed it out a year later. They didn't try, and then they kept doing like yearly releases for Spider-Man, and I think that's what kind of killed it for them. So Beanox was just, they just didn't care, and that's kind of.
I don't think they didn't care. They just didn't have the fucking time.
Well, yeah, maybe Activision was just like, you got to push these out.
Yeah.
And that's what was going on.
I think Beanox always seemed to put their best foot forward.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, you can't make, like, fucking gold from fucking nothing.
And I think it showed that, like, sorry, I didn't mean like they didn't care, but I think Activision just didn't care about putting good stuff out because Beanox, that first game was really good. They got Dan Slott to write it, who at the time had sort of just started writing Spider-Man, like Amazing Spider-Man. He worked on a couple of stuff, like a couple of arcs before that, but he wasn't brought on as like the main writer until a little bit after that. He sort of kicked off like Brand New Day. and then he just ended his run on Spider-Man like 2 or 3 months ago. So he was on it for about 10 years. So for him to come in, write that story, which was actually really fucking good, and then the year after, them just being like, oh, whatever, and just not really caring that much about it. So yeah, it's awesome that they've set up Marvel Games, and they're like, all right, here we're gonna do, we're gonna give someone a bunch of fucking money. And James Stevenson said this, right? That they were given the opportunity to make any superhero game that they wanted to, and they chose Spider-Man. And we know that there are other Marvel games in the works. I think there's an Avengers game being made by Square. Is that right?
It sounds right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
So, like, for them to put this out and this being like their first Marvel game, I think it's a good step in the right direction. So yeah, like, I think it's as good as the first two Batman games. I didn't like the third one, because they undid a lot of the awesome story stuff that they did with the second one, and then it just was like there was too much focus on like the Batmobile. I didn't. Well, the prequel was fine, but it just wasn't on the same level as those first two. But also, like, those first two games sort of changed action games in general, and I never thought that this game was going to do that. I thought it was just going to do as well as those, and so yeah, I think it's on point with those two games. It's just not as influential as the Arkham series, right? So yeah, that's where I'm at with it. I think the storytelling is better, like the way they portray the story, having these awesome cutscenes and set piece moments, because Batman like didn't really do a lot of that stuff. It was either in like talking to someone on a radio, or like in like over the shoulder sort of stuff. It wasn't these big, bombastic, like crazy set piece moments.
I'm going to contradict you. I'm going to jump in.
Sure.
Right there. So I do think the story in Spider-Man, Marvel Spider-Man, is good. I do think it is mostly well told. I do think that they like do a really good job of weaving a bunch of iconic Spider-Man characters in, and they use them all quite well, or use most of them quite well. But I did not love the cutscenes, and I definitely think that Batman told a better story in a better way, and I'm going to tell you why. And it's like, totally get why you enjoyed it, because it is a cinematic, like the Spider-Man version is a very cinematic storytelling style, and it really fits the scope of what they were trying to do with Spider-Man. But I at the end of the day, Arkham City's story is better, just flat out. And yeah, I really liked the way they did it in Batman, for a specific reason that I think they constantly fail to do in Spider-Man. And it's so in Batman, in Arkham City, you start the game. I've wanked on about this before, but you start the game as Bruce Wayne, and you feel the, I guess, the innate lack of power that Bruce Wayne brings to the table. Yeah,
are we allowed to talk about this part yet? Remember, Warner Brothers like, you can't talk about being Bruce Wayne. Has enough time passed?
Maybe.
Are we still under embargo?
Yeah. So, yeah. Then you transition into being Batman.
Yeah.
And it is a transformation. It's a transformation for the character, the player character, and the player as well. It signifies that you are now Batman. For the rest of the game, everything you do is done as Batman. So when they use the radio to fill you in on exposition, I didn't have a problem with it. I only really had a problem with it when it got in the way of the gameplay in the situations where you'd have to stand around fucking waiting for someone to shut the fuck up. Which happens in Spider-Man as well, actually. When you're listening to fucking the note takers to your. I haven't looked at the shit I'm not allowed to spoil, so I'm going to quickly look at that. I didn't look at the fucking embargo details. What the fuck? I should probably look at that. Oh, God. Where's that crazy fucking...
There was a big... like, I try not to talk about this stuff. Which I think is fair enough, right? It's pretty...
Yeah, okay. So there's someone who leaves you notes. And I cannot say who. But yeah, there is someone who leaves you notes, and every time you listen to those notes, you have to wait for the chatter to finish.
Yeah.
Or else it will fuck up. There's a couple of times where they leave you multiple notes, and I didn't realize that until way too late in the game I definitely missed stuff, which is annoying. I couldn't see any way to re-listen to notes without actually using the note taker itself, which is a bummer.
Yeah, it's not like the BioShock system where it just keeps playing for you, and if you get cut in by someone else speaking, then it just sort of it remembers where you sort of left off.
Yeah, and I desperately wish that it was. Hang on, there's more crazy fucking the spoiler notes on this shit is they're just wild. Like, they're out of control. There's so fucking many of them. There's Jesus Christ. Yeah, okay, fine. So I didn't like that.
Yeah.
Still looking. I think I can say this. I'm pretty sure I can say this, Luke.
Okay, we'll find out.
We will find out. And contrary to becoming the Batman,
yeah,
you spend quite a bit of time not Spider-Man.
Yeah,
not as Spider-Man, and I don't have a problem when you with it when you are Peter Parker, because I think the dichotomy of the duality of Peter Parker and Spider-Man as Peter Parker attempts to live a life that balances being Spider-Man with it. I think that it's core to the being of Spider-Man as a character. So I think that using it as a storytelling tool is 100% appropriate, and I think they do it pretty well in Marvel Spider-Man the game. However, when you play as Mary Jane in terrible stealth sequences, it adds literally nothing to the fucking story. It brings nothing to the table in terms of her characterization, except this idea that she thinks she can be a partner with Spider-Man. And it generally just serves to make me sort of dislike Mary Jane. And it's not like I think they were trying to, I don't know what they were trying to do, but it feels like they were trying to push this idea that Mary Jane is as capable as Spider-Man. But Spider-Man is literally a fucking superhero, so they can't be partners.
Look, Joab, I'm not sure you heard this before.
Be a fucking sidekick, okay? She's not even that. She's not even qualified to be a fucking sidekick to my boy Spider-Man, okay? Spider-Man he can do whatever a spider can, for fuck's sake, okay?
I think you'll find it's not all heroes wear capes, Joab. I'm pretty sure that's someone who said something one time.
Right. Yeah, sure.
If you want to bring Batman back into it. Checkmate.
So, yeah, I don't have a problem with this Peter Parker, but yeah, the Mary Jane sequences drive me fucking bananas. Because the stealth in that game is bad.
Yeah.
It is super fucking basic, and it just feels like it is pointlessly extending this game for no real payoff. There is one stealth sequence that I am specifically not allowed to talk about.
Yeah. I don't think it's. Oh, really? I thought because they do that part twice. The first one I liked. The second one I was like, yeah, I could do without this part.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But I get it. Like the stealth is not. It's like I think it's just to slow the pace down a little bit.
Right.
And to explore some of these characters a bit more. It's I don't know if it was needed.
Yeah.
It just I wasn't a huge fan of it.
Yeah. Like ditto, and I think it really hurts. Like I think the parts where you are not Peter Parker / Spider-Man really hurt the overall experience of the game. Because that's not Spider-Man. That's not Marvel's Spider-Man, the game anymore. That's fucking Mary Jane Watson, shitty fucking Lois Lane ripoff. Like, forget that shit. I'll tell you what I did like. J. Jonah Jameson's podcast.
Yeah,
I loved it. I legit stopped what I was doing every single time because one time I was listening to it and I caught up to a car speeding car that was like crime in process. Yeah, and it cut out the podcast. I'm like, fuck's sake, that's it. I'm not letting the next car get away. I don't give a fuck. I want to hear what J. Jonah Jameson has to say about fucking Spider-Man. He's got some interesting fucking things to say, okay? Like,
yeah, you can actually go back and listen to those ones.
Oh, can you?
Yeah, it's in the menu.
I might do that. Yeah, dude's dropping facts.
And there's a lot of podcasts. Like, I felt 30 hours in, I didn't hear the same stuff over again. And like a lot of it is relating to some of the things that you do in the world as well.
It is. It's like the equivalent of the news blast that talks directly about the thing you've just accomplished.
Yeah.
It'll be like, but like with J. Jonah, instead of being like, and in news today, a bomb has exploded on the Brooklyn Bridge. Instead, it's J. Jonah Jameson, and he's like, "Oh, I can't believe Spider-Man let another bomb explode on the Brooklyn Bridge." You're like, "Motherfucker, what are you talking about? I stopped that bomb." It's good, and then he'll like rail on at something else about something else, and yeah, it just like spirals from there. It's fantastic. I really like it. I like all the different suits. Like there's. We allowed to talk about that?
Yeah, it's not on here, but maybe we
There's
can't.
Lots of different suits.
There's a lot of suits, yeah.
I think I talked about it in the previous session, but I really like being able to use a suit and a different suit's power.
Yeah.
I reckon that's fantastic. That's such a good fucking idea. There's a couple of suits that really help with some of the extra, challenges that you'll face.
Yeah.
You know, like you're doing a crime and it'll be like air throw 5 criminals.
Yep.
There are a couple of suits that make that a bit easier, like in sort of abstract ways and stuff. And so like there are situations where you, like by the end of the game when I was just trying to like earn more tokens so I could get the stuff that I wanted, because suits take tokens. They take a bunch of different ones. Actually, that's one thing that you pointed out that I think everyone should know is don't get too fucking hooked. With the exception of doing all the towers, it's got like fucking Far Cry towers. With the exception of doing the towers, I wouldn't get hooked chasing down fucking collectibles unless you're like next to them, because over the course of the game you will cover fucking all of Manhattan. You'll go all over the fucking place in Manhattan. So, and there's one thing that is all over the fucking place that won't unlock until like fucking 60% of the way through the game. So
the challenge tokens take ages to come online.
Yeah, and I like them, and I like the story around them. But yeah, I was stoked. I was checking. It didn't specifically say I'm not allowed to mention. It's probably a spoiler. Whatever. I won't say it. I liked the appearance of that character. I was like,
Oh, okay.
As soon as I saw it was like scrambled image on this thing. The characters left, and as soon as I saw them, I'm like, oh my god, yes, because I like that character. But yeah. Once the challenge tokens come online, that's when you want to basically chase all the shit down.
Yeah.
Like, when you're like doing side stuff, because you have your main story beats, and then in between those you'll have periods where you just do whatever the fuck you want. That's like in those periods where you're just free roaming. He'll like specifically say, "You should take some time to do some Spider-Man stuff." That's when you do that stuff.
And it's usually not like it's going to sit there for an hour. It's usually like 5 minutes, just like a break.
Yeah. But yeah, you like do crimes when you come across them. I never did any drug crimes.
Right. You just let the drugs go free in the city?
I'm not looking after I'm not looking out for fucking people doing small scale drugs. That's the fucking cops' job, and they should be tracking that shit down so they can get to the supplier. Spider-Man solving the drug problem, right, solves literally nothing except for filling fucking prisons. It's ridiculous. There's no justice there. Batman wouldn't do it. Anyway.
Yeah.
Batman would set up like, stuff, programs, because he's a successful,
detective
contributor to society as a billionaire.
Right. The crime tokens as well, there's like heaps of them. I finished the game and had, I think, 65 spare.
Yeah.
Because I was just doing them all the time. And because there's so many, you basically, they show up and each one has like a bonus to them. It'll be like you were talking about, web throw a couple of people, or don't take any damage while doing this. And you can do them throughout the course of the game. Like, they'll keep coming back. Once you actually finish the game, you can still roam around the city, and those random encounters will still happen. So it's not like, oh shit, I need to do these. You can really take your time to do it. But I'm saying do the crime ones because it's good to have a bank of them. Yeah, I was doing it so that I could level up all my gadgets and get the suits that I wanted, even though I pretty much just entirely used Web Blossom I think all of the game actually. That one, so you basically, during combat, you build up a focus meter, or focus meters, there's multiple, and then you can unleash, No, it's different. Yeah.
Suit power is different.
Yeah, suit power is like the one that just every couple of minutes you can just trigger it. And Web Blossom just webs up everybody within a radius around you. So you can do these missions where it's like, all right, get rid of everybody and just trigger that. Within 4 seconds, everybody's done. I found that one to be really fun. But there are other ones in there that are interesting that I just never actually got around to using. And I don't know how they sort of affect some of those harder challenge missions. There's a stealth suit, and I'm wondering how that sort of factors into the stealth challenges, or if it is any good. I'm not too sure.
Just checking. The one I used the most was Iron Spider Arms.
Yep.
Basically, what I would do is I would go to one of the because you got these bases around the game, and you got to defeat 6 waves of enemies before you can wrap up a base. So they've got the challenges as well. It's disarm 20 enemies or complete a 40 hit combo or some shit. So I would basically just spend my entire time setting it up so I could complete those challenges, and then by wave 5 and 6, I just pop the fucking spider arms, and fucking 4 extra arms pop out his back, and you just fucking shred cunts. You just rip people up. They get knocked out so fucking quick. So yeah, that was my favorite one to use. out of those. And because I didn't have Web Blossom cheats, I wound up using the bombs a lot instead. The Web Bomb.
Oh, as your gadget.
Gadgets, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I use that, and I'd use the power shot, the power web shot.
Yeah.
Which, if you upgrade it, you can get it so that it sort of knocks people back as well, other people back as well. So yeah, tee those two up, and then fuck people up.
The tether's fun. There's like a web tether. You can either tether people to other people.
The trip mine.
Yeah. Or
that's awesome.
you get when a car rocks up, you just put it on the car and they get out of the car and then immediately get web to it. That's always fun. Or you can put it onto a wall up high and then knock them up in the air, and then the web will grab them. Which is pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah,
a lot of cool gadgets. For me though, the third act, and can't go into too much detail about this. I think the third act's definitely the weakest part of the game.
Yeah.
There's a turning point where they're a military defense contractors.
Martial law.
Yeah.
It's basically martial law in New York City.
Yeah, they show up and it doesn't make the game fun anymore. The swinging in the game is awesome. There's a fast travel system, and I didn't use it once because you're always just swinging around the city doing cool shit.
I did use it.
Yeah.
At the point you're talking about. After that point,
right.
I had my next objective was 3,000 meters away.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck this shit.
Yeah. Well,
I'm just going to get fucking punted the entire time. So
I didn't think about that. So yeah, that was the only part of the game where I was like, this is not making the web swinging any fun, because you're constantly just getting shot at every couple of blocks.
Yeah.
And it just, I didn't like that part at all. And there is a super villain encounter that also is in there, which I did not like. It was just executed
you in your review, right?
Yep. I thought it was handled pretty poorly. I don't know if you agree, but
I totally agree. A shitty scarecrow, right? Basically, shitty scarecrow mission from the Batman ones, the hallucination and everything's warped and you're not sure how anything works. I did like the characterization of Peter talking to himself and battling his own subconscious. I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, overall is fucking ugly as fuck.
Yeah, it looks ugly.
I totally agree with you on that. And it's been done a lot better elsewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, it didn't really work for me either, and it didn't really fit with the way you inevitably take that villain down either.
Yeah,
he used that once, and then he's like, "Well, didn't work. Might as well just try to
back to the drawing board." Yeah, yeah, and I feel like it was a bit rushed. I don't know. Let me just check these. Anyway,
specifically,
we've seen them in trailers. There are characters that show up, and I just feel like that the first two acts of the game is handled so fucking well. With the Martin Lee stuff is really good, and then you get to a point in the game where third act kicks off, and it just feels a bit more rushed. You're doing. It's just rushed. All right, I felt like it could have been handled a bit better, or even have it as a separate game or something like that, like a sequel. So yeah, but otherwise, I think the story's awesome. There's some really good characterization in there between Peter and someone else in particular that I thought is handled very well. It's just that the way it's wrapped up felt a little bit rushed. So yeah. Anyway, that were really my main two issues with it. Otherwise, I think it's pretty fucking awesome game. It's hard to not recommend it for people. I think it's going to do pretty well in terms of sales and whatnot. It seems to be doing pretty well review wise. So yeah, it's hard to say. I don't think people will be disappointed by it if you're looking forward to it from what you've seen so far. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I agree with that. I would like less assists on the swinging. I still think there's too many assists. I still think it's too easy. Ultimately, too easy to swing. and there are a couple of times where it makes it like actually hard. The challenges, those challenge tokens,
They're hard, yeah.
the drone ones are really fucking hard to do because you don't swing, I think, the way that you should. And there are a few times where you would be like, to get the best time, you would have to swing through a pretty narrow gap. And the tendency for Spider-Man to actually cling onto a wall is too grand in that scenario.
Yeah.
And so you'd miss the gap if you didn't fucking like, whereas if the assists weren't there, you wouldn't be like, it feels like you're magnetized towards the wall as opposed to hitting the gap like you feel like you should. And I understand that like it expects it's asking for a superb amount of precision, but I feel like it's unnecessarily hard as a result of these assists. It feels like when you're playing a racing game, you've got like braking assists on or something, and so suddenly you are like over braking into corners when you should be powering out of the apex of the turn. That braking assist is still on, and so you're not getting the sorts of cornering that you should be.
Yeah,
that's what it sort of felt like to me. I'd love to play a version of this game without those assists. Like, I don't like, just make it like fucking hard mode or something. Make it like the God of War mode, some shit.
Well, yeah, there's a new game plus mode coming out. We don't know what that entails yet.
Yeah,
either.
Just make you fucking make you pancake and make you deal with it. Like, I'd be fucking fine with it. I think it'd be awesome. I don't know if it's something that they can actually, like, if they can excise those assists, it might be built into the engine and stuff. That's okay. I just wanted to, like, in your review, you very cheekily wrote the best swing that we've ever encountered.
Yeah.
And obviously it's the best swing you've ever encountered.
Yeah.
I do not agree. But yeah. Yeah, it is an awesome game. And I, like, 100% recommend it. I just wanted, on the old record, that, yeah, I'm still not the best swing, I think. Like, yeah. It's crazy how hardcore Sony been. It's just hit after hit after hit. It is bananas.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're killing it.
They are, yeah. The one thing I also want to mention is that, like, a lot of people were worried about when they first showed this game, like, oh, it's going to be real with QuickTime events. There's not a lot at all. I think the one that we saw is probably the most predominant one in the game for the E3 reveal with the helicopter chase with I think it was Mr. Negative. Yeah, there's only like a couple of instances in the game where that actually happens. It's not like it's not really a big deal at all throughout most of the game.
It isn't. There is one. It felt like it was a hard fail.
Yeah.
Which was a surprise, a hard fail QuickTime event, but it reverts you to basically seconds prior anyway, so it doesn't wind up being a problem anyway.
Yeah.
It's in the middle of a boss fight. And it didn't, like, send me to the start of the boss fight. That would have been a fucking dummy spit moment, I'll tell you what. But yeah.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Like, I checked. I'm not normally one that goes through trophies and whatnot, but I was doing some. I was talking to Steve from Survivor about a few things, and because we were trying to figure out. He wasn't sure if he got something right or I don't know. So I was like, how do I check my trophies? Like, where is that? That's how game I am about trophies. So yeah, I checked mine and I was like, oh, I've only got like 4 left or 3 left. And one of them was like use the fast travel system 5 times or something. So I was like, oh, I can do that. That'll be easy. And then so the other 3 I think they were hidden.
Right.
So I'm pretty like looking through my list of stuff. It's I think the most I've done for a game in terms of trophies, which wasn't something that I set out to do. It's just there was so many cool things in that game that I ended up doing that yeah, it just seemed to be tied to a lot of that stuff. Like you talked about the tokens and the backpacks. Like I got all of those backpack tokens pretty early on in the game, and I didn't need to, but I was like, oh fuck, I'm gonna go do all this stuff because it just seemed like a cool idea. And there are like locations that you take photos of, landmark locations, which some of them are like there's Avengers Tower, like shit like that, seeing little cool Easter eggs. But there's a second like photo opportunity that opens up later on in the game, and it's a lot more Easter eggy stuff. You see stuff from the Marvel universe that isn't really located on the map, so some of that stuff is pretty cool as well. But it's just, yeah, there's a lot of detail in the game. There's a lot going on. I think everything, or most stuff in there is pretty good. And I'm keen to check out what New Game Plus is, because there's another patch coming out in day one launch, which includes like photo mode, which looks sick as well.
Yeah.
They put up a trailer for that, and they're going like the whole comic booky route with having stickers and being able to change like the look of the images. So that should be pretty interesting to check out, because yeah, games like God of War and like not The Last of Us, Uncharted, they all had like photo modes in there. It seems like they're all trying to just one up each other in terms of like what their photo mode does. And we know that the other PlayStation game coming out, the Japanese sword fighting one, Ghost of Tsushima, will also have a photo mode. So yeah. That stuff's fun. It's good. Yeah, Spider-Man's very good. You should definitely check it out. And yeah, I think maybe we'll do a spoiler cast at some stage to talk about all the things that we can't talk about now because the game's not out.
Yep. Nice.
Anyway.
We should find someone else who's like a fan. Get them on.
Yeah. We can talk to someone, I'm sure. There's plenty of people out there. The fucking credits, oh my gosh, I was like, because I wanted to record some audio, some music from the credits. They go for 35 fucking minutes. There's a lot of people that help make that game. It goes for ages.
Bananas.
Yeah.
Glad I did not sit all the way.
Well, neither did I. I let it run. It was like,
I like it when there's a fast forward option. So
yeah.
I can scoot through it a bit. But yeah.
Because I let it run, went and had a shower and came back, and I was like, oh, is it looping again? Oh, okay, fair enough. And then I was like, that's a bit weird. Like, why would it loop? So I just left it, and eventually it finished. I was like, 35 fucking minutes? That is nuts. Yeah, anyway. It's very good. I'm excited to see what else Marvel Games has in store for people, because it's a good starting point. Yep. All right, anything else you want to say about that?
No.
Should we do some news?
Let's do it.
The Witcher Netflix series. Last night, Henry Cavil was announced as the star of the show, which is...
That is a good cast. That's
pretty good
casting, I reckon. I reckon that works. I did see someone else pitch Alexander Skarsgård.
Oh, yeah, that was a while back, yeah.
That'd be fun. That'd be a good one too. But I think Cavill's good. He was awesome in the fucking Mission Impossible.
Oh, he's pretty good in, I feel like, everything I've seen him in. Like, the Batman and... the Superman stuff. He's fine in that. It's not his fault some of the scripts are a bit shit.
True.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, he is good.
Yeah. I saw him... He reposted, like, a Boss Logic... who does a bunch of art on social media. Yeah. He posted a picture of that like a month ago.
Right.
Like you've seen the one going around, right? Of Henry Cavill as Geralt. Yeah, that was like a month back. That's fucking weird, right? Did he have inside knowledge, or was he... Yeah, I don't know. Like, what happened with that story? I'm really curious.
That's something.
Because Netflix, he wrote something on Twitter about it, and Netflix posted back and was like, "Yeah, we really liked your work, so
yeah, I guess we'll use it."
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, but I'm excited. I'm interested to see like how different it will be from the books or the games as well, because obviously wasn't there like some fallout between the game developers, like CD Projekt, and the writer?
something like that. I think, yeah. I don't know. I don't think it matters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Cool.
I don't know when that's supposed to be starting, so maybe we're a year or so off before we start seeing that series. But yeah, I'm excited. All right, Call of Duty Blackout. Some news about that. The Battle Royale mode will be having an 80-player limit. Well, they're starting off with an 80-player limit. Sounds like they've tested it with higher, and it works, but maybe because of like packet loss stuff. Not packet loss. What's that fucking thing called? I've drawn a blank.
I have no idea.
Like the refresh rate thing for network
Tick rate.
Tick rate. That's it. Yeah, maybe they just can't get their tick rate down to a
maybe
decent level. So yeah, 80 players. It's decent. That's a good start. And it's going to have zombies in there as well, which is interesting. They're like doing a combined of like DayZ / Battle Royale.
That's nuts. That is crazy. I don't know if that's a good idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, 80 players is good. I think that's a good number, and I'm fucking amped for it. I'm like proper excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, Blackout's the one I'm hanging out for, I think. Of the battle royales that are coming.
Yep, I'm definitely keen.
Feels weird to be excited for a Call of Duty game.
Yeah.
Treyarch rarely let us down, so yeah.
Yep.
Hang on.
All right, and the next one's yours. You take it away.
Okay, let me see if I can find his name. I'm just going to bring up his name. But basically, the president of the IOC, the International Olympics Committee, Thomas Bach, that's it, has declared that so-called killer games which promote violence or discrimination cannot be accepted into the Olympic Games. If you have e-games where it's about killing someone, this cannot be brought into line without Olympic values, he said at the Asian Games, where there are esports. He called them e-games. I don't know why. Anyway, yeah, Thomas Bach is a Olympic gold medalist in fencing.
Yeah.
Which is where you use a sword to stab at someone. But I guess that and the boxing, the shooting, wrestling, judo, the spear throwing, all those things where, violence is obviously implied. I guess they don't count unless it is on a video screen or some such. Anyway, it's just a crazy, idiotic fucking thing to say from a man who got a gold medal in sword stabbing. And I thought it was pretty amusing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't really have, fucking, as Bo has said on the podium a few times, I don't think that esports doesn't need the Olympics. The Olympics needs esports, and they should fucking sort this shit out. They should wake up to that shit already because it's ludicrous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. All right. That's it. That's the news. That's what we got. Have we got any questions?
Have we got any questions? So, Squiz, SCUM or PUBG, anyone? Says Liam. Liam,
you're wrong channel.
that's not what the fucking questions channel is for you, dork. That's it. No questions. I need questions, people.
Oh, Baz asked if SCUM was worth it. Did we do that already?
That ages ago.
Right. Fair enough.
Yep. Anyway.
Cool. Should we wrap it up? The Gap. You can find us on iTunes, Android, Windows Store, maybe Spotify. Maybe? Question mark?
I wouldn't know.
No, I submitted this on Spotify. I don't know if that's gone through yet. So
finally.
Yeah. Well, they never accepted. They've only just recently started doing forms for it. At one stage, it was all right, we're accepting submissions email us like here, and then they do that for like 2 days, and then be like, all right, we've had enough now. That's it. But it seems like they're actually doing like proper submissions now. So I filled out a form somewhere, and maybe it's for them. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe someone just took my email address. Who knows? So yeah, you might be able to find us on there under the Gap or the GA Podcast. You can also find us on social media, facebook.com/GA Podcast, twitter.com/GA Podcast. We're also at our website called thegapodcast.com. You can find all the episodes of the show on there, including some of the links we just talked about. We've also got a Discord page. You can jump onto that, thegapodcast.com/Discord. We've got a bunch of voice channels in there, people playing SCUM. We got like 9 or 10 people playing SCUM the other night.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
On the weekend, we had about 9 or 10 people.
Oh, we had nearly that much on Monday night, Tuesday night?
Yeah.
As well. It was good.
Yeah, that was a lot. You can also email us if you want to, thegapodcast@gmail.com, and all of those things right there on our website is all thanks to our Patreon members. If you want to help support the show, go to patreon.com/GA Podcast. Helps us pay the bills. So muchly appreciated.
Very grateful. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I just want to quickly shout out to my boy Frisco, who bought me a Red Bull, an OG shirt. Sent it over. It arrived. And I'm very, very grateful for that as well.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yes. He didn't pay money. I gave him money.
Yeah.
Obviously. I'm not saying he bought me free. Yeah. But I'm still unbelievably grateful. It's awesome. He got it from the International. So, yeah.
Yeah. Did he sign it for you with his name?
He didn't, unfortunately.
Let down.
Sad.
Yeah. All right. Anything you want to pimp out this week? What do you got going on? Melbourne Open stuff?
Yeah, Melbourne Esports Open. So, interview with Schönfire. I'll have like an editorial up, I believe. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I've got an interview with Anna, but it's not really an interview. They just got me to ask, like, to send a bunch, like, email through a bunch of questions. They sent it back, but they're all like 1-sentence answers, and I'm not really sure I can make an article out of it. But they're pretty spicy answers, so I'm torn. I want to do something with it. I hate doing the Q&A. I hate that. I hate it. But I might have to, just because some of the shit he says. Woo lad.
Can you say any of the spicy stuff?
What has he got? You're now Australia's most successful esports player. What do you think of that? Well, there aren't many esports players in Australia, so not that impressive, I guess. Cool, thanks for that. I asked him, OG loves to use the chat wheel, and the crowd is split on whether they love it or hate it. What does it mean to you as a team? It's all about keeping your APM stat up, isn't it? He said, it gives us a nice atmosphere, and we always joke about it or laugh about it. It's not really about the APM, haha. He's such good answers. There was a good one. I just can't remember what the fuck it was. Where is it? It was really good. Yeah. Semi-retiring for a year seemed to work out pretty well this time. Will you employ this strategy again? Please don't. I thought about it, and if our results weren't that good at this international, I would consider stopping playing Dota altogether. But I've had my second thoughts. Yeah. It seems like they sent it through direct. So I put in brackets, if they win, and extra questions to ask. And they send that through as well. So, cool.
Yeah.
They really go, yeah. Yeah, so anyway, like I was saying, spicy. No, they're terrible. Terrible answers. And, like, I was saying this before. If this was like a real interview, if we'd done it on Discord or on the phone or something, I could be like, what's it like returning to the international after a break? And he could say, returning to the international after a break felt like it was a while since I had played. And then I could sit there and just be dead silent until he actually said something in consequence.
Yeah, but instead,
you got
6 words.
That's what I got. Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
Awesome.
Good times.
Anything else?
No. Nate's got a competitive analysis. We call it Comp Anal.
Yep.
Of Grim Sky, where he's got like quotes from the Rainbow Six creative director and stuff like that, and like explains some details behind everything that's gone into Grim Sky. So that'll be up as well. So check that out.
Nice.
Cool.
Cool. For me, you can go to Stevivor.com. I've still got stuff going up from QuakeCon.
Fucking hell.
I think something went up yesterday. Yeah, Pete Hines talking about esports.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, basically because they had like Quake running there at QuakeCon, and they were doing like Elder Scrolls Legends tournaments, which I watched a little bit of. So yeah, I basically asked him about like how like what their focus is on esports and what they're going to be doing. So yeah, I don't know. Go put that on Red Bull Job. That was good. And then also, if you want to read my review of Spider-Man, I wrote 1,500 words on our website, thegapodcast.com. Just because I don't know, I felt like it. Well, no, I wanted to turn it into the video script, so I'm still working on that at the moment. It just took a little bit longer for me than I expected, so I was like, I'll just put it up as a review at the moment, and then maybe turn it into a video. Yeah, cool.
Cool. Yeah, I liked it. I thought it ended a little abruptly.
Yeah.
Like you just sort of felt like you were just like, oh yeah, here's like two things that I didn't like. Peace.
Yeah.
I feel like you could like spread that out.
I could have, but I usually only like writing 1,000 words. I don't like writing long form stuff.
Sure.
And I already went on 1,500 words, and I had a bunch of other things I want to talk about anyway. So, that's.
What's the other thing? Oh yeah, your paragraphs are too big.
No, your paragraph's too big.
No, mate.
Shut your
Your
face.
paragraphs were fucking huge.
Yeah. It's 'cause...
I fixed it, don't worry.
All right, fair enough. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, go check that out if you want. If you don't want to like listen to an hour of us talking about it, but you should, because we're awesome. Yeah.
And that's what you signed up for when you subscribe to this fucking podcast.
That is it.
That's what you fucking get.
That's what you get. Next week, we'll be talking about more Battlefield, I guess.
Yes, we will. And more Rainbow, a lot more Rainbow.
Probably some more Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah?
Because photo mode and all the other things that are coming out on day one.
Sure.
Check that out.
Probably.
Yeah. And I'm...
More scum.
Definitely some more scum. So there's a lot going on. We're getting to video game season.
Season.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Anything else you want to say before we go? What do you think's happened?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
The world is at war.
Right. That would not surprise me at all.
Wouldn't know. Let us know if this how this episode sounds if you care to tell us, because we're trying something different this time. Again.
Yeah.
But hopefully it sounds better. Hopefully I sound better, because I see Luke has constructed a way that he sounds the best, and I sound like I'm phoning in using a tin can and a string. Because I listened to the podcast for the first time
ever.
in 245 episodes last week, so I could clip out a bit where I shit all over Scribble. And I just wanted to, and I'm like, I sound like garbage. Well, that sounds really good though.
Well, because I'm getting direct audio from my mic, and yours is coming through Discord. You should have listened to it when we were going through Skype.
Was it worse?
Oh yeah, man. Skype is trash. Oh my gosh.
Skype is trash. Fuck
Skype is terrible. Compared to this, I don't know what the bit rate on this part is, but it's definitely a lot better than Skype.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, that's it. Thanks everyone listening. We'll catch you next week.
Cheers. Bye.